Kethera pressed her youngling closer to her chest as the Hegemony Death Squad advanced through the burning ruins of her village. Little Velen whimpered softly, his bioluminescent patches flickering weakly, a sign of severe malnutrition that made her heart ache with helpless rage. 3 days ago, her people had been thriving farmers on the outer rim world of Zephy's Prime. Then the Hegemony decided their fertile valley would make an excellent military staging ground. The eviction notice had been delivered via orbital bombardment. "Please," she whispered to whatever gods might still listen, "just let my child live." The lead soldier, his armor painted with the crimson marks of the Extermination Corps, raised his plasma rifle. Kethera had seen what those weapons did to her neighbors. The lucky ones died instantly. The soldier's finger tightened on the trigger. Then the sky erupted in fire. Ships descended through the smoke. Vessels unlike anything Kethera had ever seen. They bore no hegemony markings, no familiar insignia of the galactic powers. Instead, they displayed symbols she didn't recognize. Red crosses on white backgrounds, crescents and stars, strange writing in alien scripts. The first ship landed hard between Kethera and the Death Squad. Its cargo bay opened before the engines had fully spun down, disgorging creatures that made her gasp in wonder and terror. They walked upright on 2 legs like her own people, but their skin was strangely uniform in color, some pale as moonlight, others dark as the fertile soil of her destroyed farm. Humans. She had heard whispers of them in the trading posts, the newest species to achieve spaceflight, dismissed by most as primitives barely worth notice. "Medical team, left flank," shouted one of the creatures, humans, in heavily accented galactic standard. "Combat medics, establish a perimeter. Nobody dies today." The Hegemony soldiers raised their weapons, but the humans were already moving. These weren't the clumsy primitives the galaxy mocked. They flowed like water around obstacles, their movements precise and purposeful. Some carried weapons that barked with sharp, violent sounds, projectile weapons that punched through Hegemony armor like it was decorative foil. Others carried no weapons at all, only medical supplies and scanner devices. A female human appeared beside Kethera, seemingly from nowhere. Her face was streaked with dirt and exhaustion, but her eyes held a fierce determination that transcended species barriers. "Ma'am, I need you to stay calm," the human said in surprisingly fluent Zephyrian dialect. "My name is Dr. Martinez. We're here to help." "My child," Kethera gasped. "He's sick, starving." "I see that." The human scanner device hummed as it passed over little Velen. "Severe malnutrition, but treatable. We have the supplies." She called over her shoulder, "Chun, I need pediatric nutrition gel and a portable force setup." Around them, the battle was already over. The Hegemony Death Squad lay scattered, their weapons destroyed, their armor smoking. But most shocking of all, they were still alive. The humans had somehow neutralized trained killers without killing them. "Your soldiers show mercy," Kethera whispered in amazement. Dr. Martinez looked up from tending to Velen, her expression growing hard. "Those weren't soldiers, ma'am. Those were exterminators. Our soldiers are handling the orbital assets right now." As if summoned by her words, explosions bloomed in the upper atmosphere. Hegemony warships, vessels that had seemed invincible mere hours ago, broke apart in brilliant flashes of light. "But mercy," Dr. Martinez continued, her voice softening as Velen's color began to improve under her treatment, "is what separates us from them." Within hours, the humans had established a refugee camp that defied everything Kethera understood about military logistics. They had medical stations, food distribution centers, temporary shelters, and something she had never seen before, children's play areas. Human younglings, cubs, ran laughing alongside refugee children from a dozen species, sharing toys and treats as if the galaxy's rigid species hierarchies meant nothing at all. "Why?" Kethera finally asked Dr. Martinez as they watched their children play together. "Why risk your lives for strangers?" The human woman was quiet for a long moment. "Because," she said finally, "a long time ago, when humanity was young and struggling, we learned something important. We learned that a civilization isn't measured by how powerful it becomes, but by how it treats the helpless. She gestured toward the mixed group of playing children. Besides, they're not strangers. They're just family we hadn't met yet. That night, as little Velen slept peacefully for the first time in weeks, Kythera looked up at the stars and understood why the galaxy had begun to whisper about humans in tones of wonder rather than dismissal. They weren't the strongest species, or the smartest, or the most advanced, but they were something rarer and more dangerous than any of those things. They were kind, and they had the power to back up that kindness with force.